I have a very special guest. We have Jeff Lobb in the office teaching us all about really what separates the top from your average agent, from those that might be leaving the business soon. So we're really going to dive in. And honestly, guys, if you haven't already met Jeff, Jeff is with Spark Tank Media. And one of the things that he has done is actually coached over 100,000 agents over his career. He has been an agent. He's been in your shoes. He talks with agents daily. There's nobody better to really talk about what does it take to be at the bottom and the top than this guy right here, guys. So I'm so excited to have Jeff on our webinar. Jeff, say hi.
Thanks, man. Hey, everybody. Thanks for spending time with us today. Excited to be here. Rates have gone down in the typical past 6 months of where we are today. So buying power, refinancing, and I think this fourth quarter going into next year is going to be much stronger than we have seen, which if you're not prepared for right now, no matter what level agent you are, you're going to miss opportunities. And that's a big concern I've been sharing is, are you ready to handle more business? And are you positioned to do that? And a lot of people are not. They're going through day by day, just day by day.
Second hot season. Let's go. Because I mean, and everybody I talked to, season wasn't as hot this year. And when you look at the data that's presented, that's true. So that kind of dives us into our first question and our first topic, which is the difference between being busy versus being truly productive. And so when we're talking right now, right, let's put this into perspective. You're expecting a bit of a spike here, fourth quarter.
Correct.
How can agents really take this time to be productive versus being busy?
Yeah, it's very easy to be busy in this business. We can get our heads spun around with multiple buyers, some not really as qualified as they should. They want to run us around, and we spend a lot of the time. And not that we shouldn't. We have to get better at kind of our time management because they can get a lot of our time out of control. But I think right now we have to always focus on is, how am I finding new business every day? Because you could be the smartest and best real estate agent in the world, but not have customers and be out of business. So the word of being busy is truly just that. It doesn't mean you're making money. We've watched a lot of people be really busy and go broke in the real estate business. And that sucks. So we need to find, how am I making money? What are the things I'm doing every day in my daily activities? And it's a slow build every day while you're working with those buyers and sellers. And to me, a lot of things, no matter what market, should be seller focused too. I was always listing focused. Everyone I think should be. But remember, listings are like the inventory of the universe. It gives you empowerment to market, to post on social, to put more signs on the ground, creates buyer activity, creates leads. It does all of that if done properly. Well, buyers are still great, but listings are the core of the inventory we need to have. And I think most agents struggle at finding them on a weekly basis.
Interesting. So tell me, what activity do you feel like agents are creating or doing that they consider as busy, but may not be productive?
They do a ton of, so a lot of people are getting ready to get ready to get ready.
Right.
And it's okay. A lot of the prep work to do things is busy work. The other challenge we find is since they don't know what to do or they're uncomfortable doing it, like, what if I made 5 phone calls to some of the clients I've already done business with? What if I called leads from 12 months ago and see if they actually bought anything? What if and those are the things that make people uncomfortable. So they choose not to do those. They'll do anything but the uncomfortable work. So what's the easy stuff to do? It's search MLS. It's gossipy in the office. It's do, not much of anything other than maybe run buyers around. And then it's just, complain about things are slow. And there's not much other effort that goes into the other stuff.
I think the other piece that I might throw in there, sometimes it's busy. If done properly, it can be very productive, but networking.
Yeah. 100%.
If you're attending networking events to say, okay, I'm going to go get a client, I'm going to do this, I'm going to build relationships, but you go in there and you talk to 2 people and realize they're both agents, and then you kind of lose that hope. But I think the truth is that again is one of those busy activities.
Right.
It's not productive. I like what you said. Like, you got to eat the frog, right? Make the phone calls. Those calls that you said 12 months down the road, you haven't talked to in a while.
That's right. A lot of people sit on, batches of leads that have come into their network of things, whether it's through online or through organic. And if they didn't convert, they sit in some spreadsheet or database somewhere. And we're finding some of our own clients that we coach that have converted, and I'm in awe of this and I'm thrilled they do it, that have converted leads from their database from 4 years ago. 4 years ago, they came in from an outside source, realtor.com, Zillow, some organic website, and didn't convert, but had the consistency to keep going back, in their time blocks and stuff that we're doing, and they converted actually 2 from 4 years ago that turned into another, 18, 20 grand in compensation. So when you see that, it even opens my eyes saying, wow, the cycle could be really, really long, but you have to have the discipline to keep going after it. And many just don't. They go to waste.
So I'm going to ask a quick question is when they're making those calls, and I don't want you to go through like every piece of the sales pipeline, but what are those calls about? What's that intro look like? Just give me that quick little hit.
Simplest thing ever. And that's probably the best way to do is make it simple. So I'll give you an example. Let's say it was a realtor.com lead, came in 4 years ago, didn't convert. All they're doing is calling is, hey, I'm Jeff Lobb. I'm with XYZ Real Estate Company. I noticed a bunch of time back or several years back, you inquired about a few homes. I'm just curious. Did you buy a home yet? And it's that simple. Like, yeah, we actually did buy. Hey, congratulations. I wanted to make sure you did get, the home, and congratulate them. Ask them if they could be part of some of your marketing and see market updates. If they didn't, help me understand. Was the time frame you didn't find a home, or are you still looking now?
I love it.
It's just ask them if they bought a home or not.
I like it because, again, I think the key is that we're talking about productivity. We got to break the excuse.
Yeah.
I can totally see it in my head right now. What the heck am I going to talk to them about? It's been 4 years, right? And I love that opener. I love it. It's like, hey, did you end up buying? Like, it's very simple. It's non-invasive questions. We're not sitting there asking about their day, first of all. Like, don't start there.
Like how you doing? They're like, who's this? And then it's like, it's because like we don't know each other. So it gets to be awkward. And then they're like, why am I even talking to you?
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable.
Yeah. And I will say this, like personally, the way that I've seen it also work as a secondary, and I'm sure you'll agree, is like if you have an event going on, say like, hey, look, I know it's been a hot minute. I wanted to invite you to this event that we're doing.
Yeah.
Because for some reason, inviting events is actually a lot easier to do because you have a conversational topic, right?
Right. Yeah. And, from time to time, we have, we put on events about staging your home or how to get more value out of your home or how to, enhance the home you have so you build more equity. And if you already purchased a home, I'd love to invite you to one of our events that maybe help you grow your own property into a bigger value. Would that be something you'd be interested in? I'd love to invite you. And mind you, even if they said they bought that home, I didn't even ask them who they bought it with, nor can I care. I missed the opportunity. But if I have something of value, like I hold mini seminars about helping them improve the value of their home, why not invite them anyway? Because maybe they didn't have a good experience with their agent. And who cares? If I could bring value to them, I want to earn what other business referrals they might have.
Exactly. We're going to go through daily routines. And in some of these routines, I'm going to just throw out, and Jeff's going to give me those sort of 1 out of 10 sort of scale to see what he thinks. Now, these are going to be both business and personal. So it's going to be a mix of.
Was 10 the highest and 1 the lowest?
10 is the highest. Yep. 1 is the lowest.
10 is the highest. Okay.
10 is like,
let's go.
You have to do this to be successful today. And 1 is like, I don't care. It doesn't matter. All right. Number 1 is waking up early.
Waking up early to me is probably a 6 or 7 on the scale. Not everyone's an early morning person, but I think in general, we need to kind of get up earlier. For me personally, it's more of a 9, but I think the industry, it's a 6 or 7. To me, that's where I get most of my work done. It's where I get most of my private, quiet thinking done. And a lot of times we need that because if your head's not right, the day's screwed for sure. Because we're not just in the business of real estate. It's a bit of a mindset too. And so I would say for me, it's a 9. To the industry, 6 or 7-ish, pretty important.
Okay. Let's do the cold plunge.
Cold plunge. I have not. I admittedly have a cold plunge we have not set up at my home yet. So transparently, I need to get there. Not as important and successful. However, I think it's something to help you break some fears and to disrupt your natural personality sometimes, which you need disrupted. I'm going to say I put it at about a 5.
You know, it's funny because like I don't do the cold plunge, but every so often, if I find myself feeling like my days are in a routine and I'm just doing the same thing and churning, burning, and not really getting creative or thinking outside the box, I will switch my shower from a nighttime shower to an ice cold morning shower
That's cold
just
shower.
to shock my system.
Right.
Just to say, like, okay, we're starting over. New mindset, new energy, new wave, and just rethink it through. But that's a very rare situation.
It is to shock your system into a more powerful feeling so that you feel rejuvenated and alive. And people need that.
I've
People
got
need
a
that.
business one coming up. All right, here we go. Cold calling.
Cold calling is probably from a business standpoint to be successful. You probably have to be at a 7 for that, at least to learn how to do it. Most people like to say I'd rather warm call or network, but I would say cold calling is part of the process sometimes. So you need to get comfortable with it. So I'm going to put that at a 7.
Awesome. Now, this is a mix between personal and business. We're going to go planning the night before. So planning your day the night before.
9, maybe 9.5. Way too many agents and just business people wake up and don't have a plan for the day, or they figure out what they're going to do. And they may have 1 or 2 appointments the next day, which is great. But they're not doing anything at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock until the 1 o'clock appointment. And they might be doing things, but that's where we get into the busy work, not the productive work, right? So and we have some of our own clients. I was sharing this earlier with you, is we have them actually take screenshots of their calendar to be accountable to us as coaches. And they screenshot their calendar to us the night before. And it's their iPhone calendar, their Android calendar, because it forces them to think about the stuff they're going to do. And I have this great quote I've been using for years, and I'm passionate about it, is you lose money in the gaps of your calendar. Meaning we all have gaps in our calendar most days. So if you have a 1 o'clock appointment and you're done by 2:30, but your next thing is not till 4, what are you doing in that gap? It's an hour and a half. And then there's a lot of things we could do. We could be scrolling on social. We could be MLSing. We could follow up on emails. We could follow up on text messages, all fairly important. But how much of those gaps are filled with, I'm going to spend this 30 minutes finding new business? And it's very rare it's finding new business, because that's the uncomfortable stuff, versus I can reply to emails and texts and just do that because it's my busy stuff and I have to do it anyway.
No, there's a lot of things that can come into your day to disrupt that. But
100%.
as long as you get your top 5 going, that's what matters.
Right. Your calendar most likely will not go as planned. But if you don't have it as a plan, you don't have a plan. So you got to at least start off with the plan. And if and when it derails, you navigate around it with the priorities, right? So you're right. But I think to me, that's a huge, huge discipline that if we don't have, costing us money, difference between top producers and those who are average or less, for sure.
Yeah. The next piece is daily affirmations.
Daily affirmations is very important. I was a non-believer early in the day about creating that kind of mindset. I worked through many different companies that had that mindset, to the point where not only daily affirmations are important, but one thing we do when we do our goal setting and some of our planning and things that we're preparing for what we want out of life. And I do this now as well as I've done it for years. Because I was a non-believer, it had to prove to me first, and it did, is not only do we have to have affirmations, but you also have to have things in writing. So when we get done, let's say with our business plan or things we're going to be doing every day, besides the affirmation, let's say it's 3 or 4 things I want to accomplish in my business and 3 or 4 things that I want to accomplish personally this year. They're printed and laminated on a small business card style thing that I can carry in my wallet, in my pocket, something with me that I have at all times. So it's not only an affirmation of things, it's me putting out to the universe of the things I'm going to accomplish. And I have it with me all the time.
All right. This one, going to the office. So virtual versus going to the office.
I know I can't get work done at home. I know it's nice to be home. We went through the COVID time of being stuck certain places. I personally cannot be productive from home. However, in the office, I can be productive. I have to caution some things is sometimes the office could also get non-productive too. So I'm going to say you get in the office, you get your work done, and then you get to where your customers are out of the office. Meaning, like, and I use this example all the time too. Sometimes we're always in such a hurry. Our business, we think our business is real estate. We are not in the real estate business. I'm an 8 or a 9 with going to the office, but there's a caveat. It's for a window of time and then get out, because we're not in the business of real estate. We're in the business of people. And we're in a hurry all the time. Like, I'm going to run through Starbucks and get my coffee. Yet the customers you might want to talk to and run into are in the Starbucks. The people that live in the community of the homes you want to sell are in the store. So let's not hurry all the time. That if we're going to get out of the office, let's go find people. And if I'm wearing my branded shirt or a logoed shirt and they see the word real estate, I'm in conversations. So when you're not in the office, we need to get out and get where our clients are versus sometimes hunkering down in the office for a 9-hour day. Some days you need it, but a lot of times you got to get out of that to get to your business too. So I only caution that. That makes sense.
I completely agree. I think there's a time for being in the office, and there's a time for also, taking that time if you need to work from home, or as you said, get out completely. I'm somebody who goes to a coffee shop usually at least every other week to 2 weeks to work in a different space.
Right.
And it's just to get my mind out of the same routine. Again, it gets that out. It gets me focused a little bit more, right? So I'm not worried about what the heck's going on at the office, as you said, like office gossip, or I work from home as well. So it could be anything from coffee machine to snacks. I love the quote that a real estate agent should never eat lunch alone.
Yeah, that's 100%. There's always someone you should.
There's always somebody. And it's a tax write-off. Just go grab it and put it on your card. As long as they're a past client or could be a client tomorrow. So definitely think about outside the box. But we're talking about, you have something.
Yeah, I do actually, because a lot of my business came from different channels of like business owners too, whether the accountant and the attorney. It was like my landscapers were great referral sources for me. So like, let me ask you, when's the next time you could call a landscaper and go, hey, I want to meet you for lunch? You're like, I'm out cutting grasses. So I said, I got rid of the objection. I'm like, dude, what property are you going to be at noon? I'm bringing lunch to you and the guy. So when we think we're going to be between here and there, I'm going to meet you there between 12 and 12:30. I'm bringing lunch. And they would love that because I went out of my way. They're not too far away anyway. And guess what? Who else is doing that? So when I met some of my partners, I went to them. I'm going to go out somewhere and eat. So I picked up stuff and we went to them and they would love it. And I bought stuff for the couple guys that are working. Who you work with today? And not only brought them that, I brought them my branded hats. I brought them my other stuff. But go to them because they can't come to you. That's their lifestyle. So makes a big difference. If once or twice a week, you're going to your people. If you know where they're going to be and they know where they're going to be, get out there. Huge win to be a referral agent for that matter.
Well, yeah, it shows that you're willing to invest in the relationship. You're willing to be the one to go to the property and grab lunch with them. Now we're talking about those habits. We've gone through the daily routines. Let's talk prospecting and tracking numbers. What are the top agents doing in this area?
Always prospecting in some form. Prospecting sounds like a bad word. Doesn't have to be. It could be I'm at networking groups. It could be I'm on the phones. I have clients right now that love the phones. 3 hours a day on a dialer. They love it. And they're converting. They're calling absentee homeowners. They love it. And I have others that won't touch the damn phone, but are so community-based. They're networked with the hospitals and their community stuff, and they're always out and about. That is prospecting, right? So they're always prospecting on a weekly basis. So it's always part of their day. That's a number 9, a 10 to be example of prospect. That's the business is finding people, but it doesn't have to be so overwhelmingly complicated. Knowing your numbers is the number 9 with me too. You have to know you're going to run it like a business. And that's why for those that will show at the end real quick, my Coach 52, one of the biggest pet peeves besides putting good coaching content on there was it can track your numbers. Like I want to know if I'm going to spend 2 hours or 3 hours doing business planning in November, by June or July or any month, I want to know at any given point, where am I? Am I ahead of my goal, behind my goal? And just have a clue, because if you ran any other business, a retail store, a landscaping business, you got to know, how much does it cost me to pay my bills? Where do I make money? Am I losing it or am I making it? Or you don't operate, right? You know how much your rent is, you know how much this is. So your business has to be the same, but it doesn't have to be complicated. So at any given time, I want a snapshot view of saying, here's my goal. And based on, that's why we built 52, Coach 52. Based on this week, right now, we're about $8,000 ahead where we should be. Oh, that's fantastic. Or I'm $4,000 behind, but I'm going to get there.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's a business. And so many people have no clue. I think I think I sold like, what? Let me think. Like, how can you run the business that way? But some don't run it like a business.
You got to know your numbers.
Got to know your numbers.
You got to know your numbers, and then you got to know your audience. That's
100%.
usually the next part, right? And honestly, the two should go together, right? Your numbers and your audience should go together. You should know how much you spend in your audience money-wise to attract and get your numbers up and running. You should know how to keep your lights on. You should know all the tax benefits that come with being a 1099 too.
That's true. Know a really good accountant, which you should be taking that one to him or her to lunch. That's the one.
Yes, that should be your person you take to lunch. On those days where you can't get somebody else, get your accountant for sure. Talk to me a little bit more about the numbers we're tracking. Is this specific to transaction numbers? Is this numbers that how many people I'm calling this week, emailing, prospecting numbers? Tell me a little bit about those.
So I think the simplest way to look at it is you need to at least just know the numbers of your business first. I mean, that's at least the core. So if you're setting a goal, know where it is. But the number one thing when I tell people, and actually we're going to be doing this next week at a live event, master or workshop, is everyone can tell me, how much they want to make and how much they need to do next year or need and want. And then when I ask them the question, that's great. How are we going to get there? I get that look of like blankness. Well, I'm going to get more referrals. Well, see, you have to understand there's some things you can control and there's some things you can't. I can't, like, you could have your business all by referral and have earned that for 30 years in this business, but you don't know if you're getting a referral today, tomorrow, or next week. It's an uncontrollable. So what are you going to do that you could be proactive with? So I want to track the proactive things I'm going to do because I don't know if I'm getting a referral today or tomorrow. I hope, but I can't run my business on hope. So knowing the numbers of your business first, but how am I going to get there? So you do then need to track some other simple forms. And to me, it would be, if you look at the last 12 or 18 months or 2 years, where did my business come from? First of all, where did it come from? How did I get there? Then if I'm going to commit to phone calls or networking, whatever it is, how many people do I need to speak to? How many appointments do I need to get? Because at some point, you have to have some goal in mind about your conversion. Mm-hmm. Like we know some of the guys that I have that are on dialers, they know that if they make 200 calls a day, now they're not dialing 200 calls, it's dialing. Yeah. If it dials 200 people, they know 15 people on average are going to answer. And 15 is going to turn into 4 conversations, which the goal is 1 appointment. So you have a perspective of, if I did this and I did this, I should get this on average. That's knowing the numbers at a basic, at a core level as far as some understanding. Does it always go that way? No. Sometimes they get 2 appointments, sometimes they get none.
Yep.
But they know the average is 200 dials to get to this is the progress. And most don't even have that as a clue in this business. So we need to figure out. And if it's networking differently, I'm going to go meet 5 people at an event today. And out of those 5, I'd like to take someone to lunch. Mm-hmm. Great. That's a goal. And out of that, you might turn into maybe a referral a year from that person. So have some simple math.
We'll jump into our next topic, which is the common reasons people fail. Yeah. And how do you avoid them?
There's a lot of people in those shoes right now. There's a couple of reasons. I mean, there's probably a handful of reasons they're failing. And people that have failed have bounced back as well, or some just fail out of the business. And it's a high number. It's like in the 80% range every 5 years. It's unfortunate. It's failed because They don't know how to go find new business. And it's because no one either taught them or they were taught and just have no discipline to do it. They got into real estate for the wrong reasons. They thought they were just going to find business or it was going to come to them. And they don't teach you that in school. They don't teach you how to become a good marketer, to market yourself. And you should be creating your own brand within the brand. Mm-hmm. So my Jeff Lobb brand existed under whatever brand I hung my license under. And it wasn't to take away from the brand I hung my license, but people were buying me. They're buying my marketing. They're buying my expertise. They're buying that. So you have to become more of the brand. And if you don't know how to shape out that brand to be what I'll call, and this is where you find your highest level, is if you became a household name where you walk down the street and someone saw you, they know you're that real estate guy or gal or woman, whoever it is. The reason people are failing is they take on generic marketing, do it for a short period of time, say, I didn't get any results from it. Don't change it. Don't have a budget to do it, and stop. That's it. They stop. And also they just don't plan because they don't know what to do. And if you tell them to make phone calls, they don't know what to say. Mm-hmm. If they don't know what to say, they won't do it. So they do nothing.
Yeah. It's and doing nothing immediately creates that sort of fail. And part of it also is fear to do those things, fear to make the phone call, like you said, fear to follow up with that lead one more time. Maybe they just didn't seem like they were into it. And you can create these excuses in your head. Fear to make that social post that makes you look weird, or you think you look weird, but everybody else thinks you look normal.
That's right.
There's a lot that can get in our heads. And so when you're talking with your clients about this, like you're coaching agents and you're coaching different people on this, how do you coach them to break those fears?
We hold them accountable to actually do them. And we'll show them how to do it. We'll do some of it with them. And then we tell them, here's what they've got to do in the next couple of days. And we make it in small bites to win. We like to celebrate small wins. We're not taking on big. But once we get you over that hump to do some of these things, like, and I just challenged one of my larger title companies we work with outside real estate. They all have to create one video for me under 60 seconds about a specific topic, which is their value proposition. Okay. I need a 60-second video. I showed you how to do it, gave you some script what to say. I don't care what you look like on camera. I don't care what you're wearing, other than just be wearing clothes. And then just send me the damn video. And it's so, I watch people like almost sweating me saying it. Send me the video. And be accountable to it. And here's the biggest problem. I do want to share this. People love to talk about like time block, and I do this and I do that for time blocking, because time blocking is another big topic of, getting people to do something. But time blocking without accountability is also a failure, because we have learned that we are really good at talking ourselves out of doing something. So if I have a time block tomorrow from 12 to 1, and it's like I got to call clients from 2 years ago, I'm going to call my old database. And I really hate doing it because I don't want to do it, but I know I got to do it. And at 11:55, we're trying to find every damn reason. Did the phone ring? I got to go to the bathroom. I got to run an errand. I got to do something other than do the stuff I need to do for an hour. And if you talk yourself out of that hour, which we're good at, no one's going to know. No one's going to care. You're just like, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. And tomorrow never happens either. There's nothing as a repercussion for that. So I'll tell you how we fix it. Let's say you got to make 60 phone calls. And if you're on a dialer, by the way, it shows you how many calls got made and shows you the stats, right? So let's say if you had to make 60 calls, and I know you hate doing it, but you got to do it for at least 1 hour or 60 phone calls. And you got to show it to me by tomorrow. And most people are like, okay, I got it. I'm going to do it. And then I go, okay, that's accountability. But what's the penalty if you didn't do it? So then I could make it extreme and say, what if every day you didn't do it, you wrote me a check for $1,000? How do you feel about that now?
I don't like that as much. I'm going to make those calls because now it hurts.
Would you do it? I make $1,000 as an extent, but think about it. If it really was a deal we made,
sure,
for 5 days, you got to do this. Are you going to write me a check ever? Or are you going to?
I would hope not, but it's so funny that you say that, because it's truthfully something that high productivity coaches teach. is
Yeah.
actually write the check,
Yes.
write an accountability check.
Yep. And I found I have had young CEOs that have been stuck at some sticking points, and they said, Jeff, I need you to I need to do this, or it's going to cost me X, and I'm just struggling. And get it, we're humans, we struggle. I struggle. So we went through this exercise, and he's like, okay, I'm going to get it there by this time, by this date, everything. And then he's like all pumped about it. I go, okay, but we're not done yet. And I told him, I just said the words, I go, $5,000. And he went, 5,000 what? I go, $5,000. He said, what about it? I go, if you don't have it to me by this time, by this date, completely done, you're writing me a check for $5,000. And he looked at me like, what are you nuts? I'm like, nope. And then I said, can you do it? And then he looked at me and goes, you know what? Yeah, I'll take that challenge. $5,000 done. Okay, good. And we never spoke about it again. And I said, well, when did I actually get it? I got it the day before. And when I got it the day before, psychology kicks in, and I called him. I go, hey, why'd you send it to me today, not tomorrow? He goes, I'll tell you what, I'm so damn nervous about missing this deadline. I was afraid if I sent it to you in the morning and maybe the email bounced back or it didn't deliver, like I didn't want to write you a damn check. I'm like, fair. That's like, he knew that was the, and then he actually said to me, would you have taken my check? And I said, absolutely. That's our deal. Would I have kept it? No, I would have made a donation to, you know, a young children's health society thing or health, someone in the hospital. I'd have made a donation, but you're losing $5,000. That was the deal.
Regardless, it's gone.
It's not for my profitability. And sure enough, it taught me some lessons about how people react to having not just money, but a repercussion for not doing it. And I watched people squirm to do things, but it also started to go, well, you know what? I did it for 5 days and it wasn't that bad. And actually I got one appointment out of it. So it didn't kill me. I'm like, okay, good. So we broke a little bit of ice and you did it. But you know what? That's our business. Like that's what we have to do. And if you don't get better at it, you're going to be one of the ones that fail out of it. So, or just not hit your numbers ever. So we have to sometimes be a little harder to be accountable, because time blocks without any accountability are easy to talk yourself out of and never come back. So just a little bit of a lesson to that universe.
That kind of drives us into the next piece, which is about top producers and building relationships and sharpening their skills. And guys, I will tell you, if you talk to any top producer out there, the biggest thing that separates them is discipline. They will discipline themselves to grow in areas that they're weak in. They find those weaknesses. And that's the key. If you don't get the discipline down, then anything that Jeff and I say going forward, just erase it, because you've got to know the discipline is key. So Jeff, what else are they doing as far as building those relationships? What does building relationships look like? Except for, as we talked about earlier, which is making sure you never eat lunch alone.
Right. A lot of our clients, and or just top producers in general, the ones that are really successful, always find ways to engage their people as people. So they hold special events, and it doesn't have to be costly, but they're hosting a VIP day for their clients. They have a lot of clients. This was a fun idea we came up with. They have a lot of clients that have pets. So how do I get my clients back together? We held a pet event.
Nice.
And we went to one of the local pet stores. She did, not me. And she said, hey, I want to hold an event for my real estate clients. We told her to go find a cool store and tell the owner of the pet store, I want to hold an event. I'm a real estate agent. I sell a lot of real estate in the area. And I want to hold half my clients have pets, maybe more. And I'm going to hold a pet event. I'm going to bring a photographer. I'm going to bring in special things, but I want you to put out all your special stuff so you can make some sales too. And they did a photo shoot event for their pets and invited not only their customers, they invited some of the outsiders, but they gave their customers a VIP 1 hour. So they got primetime photos. Some dogs came in costumes and stuff. It's crazy. She got to meet people. She connected what they love, which is their pets. She delivered a value to them. She got to shake hands and see them again. And then she brought some more stuff to the public. So it's always getting reconnected to those people, because the number one thing, and it's a pain point that I have faced myself, one of my biggest mistakes too in my career, is I've sold people homes. 2 years, 3 years, they're in my automations. They're getting my drip mail. They're getting my postcards. They're getting my stuff. And 5 years later, there's a sign in the ground up for sale, and it wasn't my sign. And I was pissed. But then I realized it was my own fault, because I stopped being human. Automations and other things took over, but it wasn't being human. So I had to quickly correct that, going, I can never let that happen again. That was because what happened was this person ran into somebody at their kid's school that had a real estate license. They became BFFs. They didn't see me in 5 years. They almost forgot maybe who I was besides my automations. And I stopped doing the cool things of value for them. So that being said, we have to find ways to reconnect with our clients on a more personal level all the time. We have to pay attention to people on a more human level.
Now, you got repeat discipline, creating lasting results. Talk to me about this one.
The goal is lasting results is if you're going to be in this business, you got to look like I can look back 20 some years now. Most people can't look that far sometimes. You have to realize like where your business started from. And the lasting results is if you want to grow more referral based business, which is what we feel we've earned. I think we assume referral based business is going to happen, but kind of like the story I just told, it has to almost be earned now. You have to continuously earn referrals because obviously if you could get your funnels of leads coming in where you get a couple leads a month from here, a couple leads a month from here, but then your clients are sending you that kind of business, it escalates to such a high number of a career that it allows you to sustain 20 and 30 years in the business if that's what you want to do. So sustainability is something you got to think about. That's why you need all your data in one place. I'll say this, and I'll say what I used to say 20 years ago, and I'll refresh it today to today's relevancy. The most valuable asset you have in this business is the relationship of people. Today's day and age, the most valuable asset you have in this business is the relationship of people and their data. You need their email address, not because you want to email them to death, but it's how you target them on social. It's how they get found. You need to be able to market to them properly. You need to be able to create ads around that stuff. So having your clients' information and data in one place, and most people plan to be in this business long term, still don't have a solid, completely accurate database that's functioning like a business. Most people, I'll say, well, where's all your stuff? And they'll go, it's right here. It's in my phone. I'm like, okay, great. Is your phone marketing to them every week? Or it's in my notebook over here? Or it's on, I write stuff down on this. This isn't going to sustain your business if it's not actively marketing and creating a relationship after it's written down here. It's got to go from here to a system to help manage people. Manage it socially, manage it by email, manage it by marketing, and just remembering to stay in touch with them, to say hello and happy birthday and all that other stuff. So you have to have all your stuff in one place as a business to have sustainability to create a long-term career. And without it, you're just going to miss a boatload of opportunity.
I cannot count how many agents have used Tap with me where they use their business card on their phone, right? They give me their business card, or they do this. They actually are trying to get my information, right?
Yep.
But there's zero follow-up.
Right.
So it's useless to get it on the phone. The next piece is, okay, I have it here. I need to qualify that lead, enter them in correctly. Are they looking to buy, sell? Is this a referral? Is this a vendor? And now I get them in the right cadence. I get them in the right campaign and set them up for success.
Here's where I'm going to tell you, I'll be transparent of today's day and age. If you said, Jeff, because my personality over time, I learned what I was really good at and what I'm not good at. And I'm not good at that stuff. I don't have the discipline, and my ADHD kicks in of not sitting here to type in data information. I hate it. So that means that doesn't mean I wouldn't do it. No. I would have somebody, I'd pay a freelancer $10 an hour somewhere. I don't care if they're overseas. And I'd send them the data. So while I'm sleeping, they're typing in my data, making sure my database is accurate for $5 or $10 an hour to make sure it's all there anyway. So I would find between today's virtual assistants, I don't care if it's overseas, in the country, whatever it is, somebody loves doing that and gets paid to do that at a low cost. And it's just as important to me to have it done. So if I jump back into production today, I would have no choice but to hire somebody to do that freelance for me or staff-wise for me, because I know how important it is and I would never do it myself. I just know I won't do it, but I will have it done. I promise.
It makes sense to me.
So people get stuck there like, I don't have time to do it. I don't care. Then spend $5 an hour, find a VA somewhere, go to Fiverr, go to freelance, go to something that they love to enter data and take pictures of it and just send it to them. And while you're sleeping, they're probably working, and have them put it into your database or CRM, whatever you're using. That's it. It's easy today. We didn't have this years ago. You had to figure it out. I had to pay a big salary to somebody to work with me as an admin. And I did anyway, because it still worked.
If you're ever interested in reaching out to Jeff for his coaching program, make sure to check out coach52.com.
Yep.
He's got anything from if you're just starting out the business to if you're already producing, but you just want to get to that next level. Because I'm not going to lie, there's definitely a point where having a coach gets you from those 10 sales or even 6 sales up to 10, up to 15 and beyond. That makes a huge difference in your life. And you'll have somebody who keeps you accountable. We're really appreciative of all of you being here, and we hope you have a great rest of your day and that this steers more success your way.
Awesome.